don't know if you've ever thought about it, you might have in passing, but obviously Detroit skipped over you, took Darko. Do you ever think, because that was a good Detroit team, obviously they went on and won championships. Do you ever think of that, like, damn,
changed the course of my career, man.
Right?
Insert him.
It was, I'm gonna tell you what, man, like to this day, I still think about that.
Really?
Yeah, hell yeah.
If we would have drafted Carmelo, don't think we would ever win a championship.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Well, Carmelo Anthony has always said he, with his Hall of Fame career and, all of the accolades he's gotten, I think he scored almost 28,000, almost 29,000 points. I mean, a certified bucket, went to the playoffs several times, played in the Mecca up there in New York, drafted by the Nuggets. I mean, really, really good individual career. But a championship eluded Carmelo, and Carmelo Anthony and others have stated several times that, man, they had a chance to draft Melo. Instead, they took Darko Milicic, who really never played a significant role for the team.
With the second pick in the 2003 NBA draft, the Detroit Pistons select Darko Milicic from Serbia and Montenegro.
And how that would have changed Carmelo Anthony's whole narrative. Like, if he would have started winning championships before, LeBron and Wade and, and got that championship pedigree, maybe his career would have went in a different way. And I remember Stephen A. Smith bringing that up.
Joe Dumars had drafted him instead of Darko Milicic. Carmelo Anthony has a title, if not two. It was Joe Dumars' team. And Joe Dumars, in fairness to him, understand that Joe Dumars had Tayshaun Prince, he had Rip Hamilton, he had Benny and Rasheed, eventually Rasheed Wallace. And he's like, we got a crew. We could, Eastern Conference Finals, and then ultimately the NBA Finals back-to-back years. His whole mentality was that we didn't need it, but we needed another big. But Carmelo Anthony was Carmelo Anthony, coming out of Syracuse, a national champion, All-American, and what he brought to the table. And it's instant buckets. You know what he's going to bring. And if you know anything about Melo, even though he is Melo, that town was made for him.
So there's, Stephen A. Smith actually talking about it and saying, basically the city of Detroit was made for Melo and his game and his style, how he was, a bruiser, very physical. Detroit's a very much blue collar town. So I get what he's saying with that. And Carmelo has even gone a step further and say it still haunts him, even after, recently going into the Hall of Fame. I mean, you can go look it up. He was unguardable. LeBron has talked about how hard he was to guard. Kobe Bryant, the best in the game, talk about how hard. Tracy McGrady, they all talk about how hard it was to guard Carmelo Anthony. And Carmelo, it still haunts him to this day.
I don't know if you've ever thought about it, you might have in passing, but obviously Detroit skipped over you, took Darko. Do you ever think, because that was a good Detroit team, obviously they went on and won championships. Do you ever think of that, like, damn,
changed the course of my career,
man, right?
Insert him.
It was, I'm gonna tell you what, man, like to this day, I still think about that.
Really?
Yeah, hell yeah. Because I'm like, they promised me. You know what I'm saying? Yo, we taking you. We taking you.
Did they?
I'm talking all the way up to draft day. You understand? We taking you. So in my mind, I'm like, I'm going to Detroit. I get Chauncy there.
Rip.
Johnny John, man, all these guys is there. She came in the middle of the year. She got traded.
Oh, that's right.
And that's what really put them over the top. But they was like, yo, you gonna share time with Tayshaun? I'm like, cool. Like, I ain't, I'm gonna come and do my thing, but I don't know how long I'm gonna share time with him, you know what I'm saying? I'm just coming and do my thing. And then they won it. And I'm like, oh, my luck. You know what I'm saying? Like, honestly, if I'm there, I think they win another one.
I think so too.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't jump out there so we 3-peat football. I think we go back to back if I'm there. Because that second year for me, I would have learned from those guys. They was all vets, and I would have learned from those guys in the way that second year coming back, I would have been a totally different player coming back. But,
everything happens for a reason.
Everything happens for a reason,
But I was,
man.
yeah, man.
I still think about that shit though to this day, bro. I'm like,
Because I want to say, didn't we have Rip on the show, and Rip swore you was coming too?
Yeah,
Rip
he
said,
did.
we
I'm
was
telling you,
supposed to
man.
get
Like,
Melo.
look,
We was supposed to get Melo.
We drove from B-More to Philly. Me and my man Bay, we drove from B-More to Philly, man, to go watch. It was Detroit versus Philly, and Larry Brown had already took the job at Detroit, but he was still coaching Philly. So we're in the back, and he's like, "Yo, we taking you, like we taking you." So I'm driving back up 95, like, "Yo, we going to Detroit." The whole hood is we Detroit.
Detroit
You know what I'm saying? So it's
basketball.
like that shit still sit with me to this day.
Now you can hear it in Melo, like it still bothers him to some degree because he know that would have, I mean, that championship, I mean, that would have meant a lot as far as how he's even viewed as a player, much less if he would have been able to get a couple of rings with that Detroit team. Now, he feels that way, and obviously some former players feel like he was supposed to be in Detroit.
Everybody thought you was gonna go to Detroit.
Everybody.
Everybody, including Melo.
Including us.
Including the Pistons.
We was already celebrating. Bro, it would have been the perfect, like, most people always be like, would he have started or would Melo have started or Tate? Well, what most people they forget is that at the time of that draft, we didn't have Sheed. We got Sheed at the trade deadline. So Melo would have been starting off the top. We still reminisce about that, man. Like, we still don't know what happened.
I know what happened.
Yeah, bro, it's crazy, man. But we always like, man, we win at least 3 chips, bro. I say it all the time. I be on him. I said Brown would have to leave Cleveland a lot earlier than he left because they never was gonna beat us.
Yeah.
They never would have beat us.
But Ben Wallace is not one of them players, and Ben Wallace was the anchor of the defense. And he's like, if we got Melo, we wouldn't have won a championship. Take a listen here what he had to say.
You think you guys would have fared? I gotta ask this: if you drafted Carmelo,
If we would have drafted Carmelo, I honestly don't think we would ever win a championship.
why is that? You think like the focal point would have been on him too much, or like as a high value rookie, or
Melo would have wanted to play right away.
okay?
And the expectation of him would have been right there too.
Right. So it would have had the potential to disrupt the team chemistry.
Yeah.
But by drafting Darko was the guy that came in and said, I can't play on this team. I'm not ready to play on this team. Who am I going to play in front of? I'm not ready. And by him doing that and accepting his role, it allowed us to build and grow, get stronger, and eventually win a championship.
Win the championship.
If he would have came in saying, I want to play, I need to be playing, now he would have called his agent. His agent would have been calling Joe. Darko would have been talking to the media. You know what I'm saying? The media would have been coming asking us crazy questions. And we would have had to say something crazy. They would have took it back to Darko.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The whole divide and conquer, man. If Melo, if we would have drafted Melo, Tayshaun would have never
blossomed
to be the type player that he became. You know what I mean? And we won the championship off the back of maybe one of the, well, not maybe, the best block that I ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
And I blocked a lot of shots.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, I hear Ben Wallace on that. I mean, a lot of people would look at it like, man, you replaced Carmelo Anthony and what he ended up becoming, and you put him there, and, you know, instead of Tayshaun Prince being out there, then Detroit's going to automatically be that much better of a team, right? Anyone that's not just been a fan of the game, that's actually played the game on any level, understand that sometimes the best lineups aren't the lineups where every position has the most talented player. You know what I'm saying? Offensively. You know, you have to bring different things to the table. And, you know, it could have been where Melo got there and was humbled right away, and that made him work that much harder. Maybe Carmelo would have been a better defender or a more consistent defender, because people always said when Melo wanted to guard, he could guard. It's just he was more focused on the offensive end, and he just did not take the onus on that end of the court like that. But I do understand what Ben Wallace is saying, because that would have moved and changed something about that team's chemistry and dynamics. Because the city, I mean, a team, you're drafting somebody like Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo was fresh off a natty. The city is expecting to see Carmelo Anthony. They really won't press. I mean, Darko Milicic, they were like, who is this dude? I mean, this isn't like now where every international guy you got is a Jokic or a Giannis or a Doncic, you know what I'm saying, Luka Doncic or Shea Gilgeous. Like, no, that ain't how it was back then. So Detroit as a whole was like, Marco, they was like, who is this guy that we drafted? They weren't really pressed to even see him. But you best believe if they just saw Carmelo win a national championship in college, they like, oh, we bringing that young bull in? Oh, some think that Melo should have at least split co-rookie of the year with LeBron, the type of year he had in Denver. Now, not saying he would have had the same numbers, obviously, in Detroit. His role would have been a little more limited, but maybe not, because another point they bring up that I forgot, to be perfectly honest, was that they didn't get Sheed till the trade deadline. So Carmelo would have started probably right out the gate. Him and Tayshaun, they would have been playing beside each other. Melo would have been expected to be a better defender. He would have been, guarding, likely some power forwards and having to really bang there. But he was a mismatch. He was a matchup problem on the other end for them. So I don't know, man. Let me know what you guys think. This is an interesting debate. I just had never heard anyone really speak about it and look at the negative side of what could have happened. And Ben Wallace said he don't think they would have won a championship at all. Let me know what you guys think, man. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I'm gonna holler at you next time. Peace.